Welcome to the Map Suite Web API Learning Sample. This one is on using layers to build up your map. This sample, we want to give you some good code examples of how to load up different data formats. If we look over here on the left, we've got 4 different sections, one for vector layers, one for raster layers, web service layers, and then customized layers. Vector layers are probably the most popular type of data in GIS. As you can see, we support many different formats from shapefile to tab. We also have support for geodatabases like file geodatabase, SQLite, and then some other common standards like well-known binary, well-known text, KML, and then we have map shapes and memory feature layers. So this sample shows how to load each one of these data sets. And this is by no means an inclusive list. We also support many other formats. We just picked some of the popular ones here. If you want to see the complete list, you can click here and go to our wiki. Next, let's take a look at the raster layers. Raster layers are great for aerial imagery and things of that nature. So if we click on the Mr. Sid example here, you'll see we'll load an aerial image and overlay it underneath some of the vector data, so you kind of get the hybrid model. In addition, we also support JPEG 2000, GeoTIFF. These are the common formats for raster layers. And again, this is not inclusive. We support many more formats, but we just picked some of the popular ones. Another cool thing that we show in this sample is how to pull data from a web service and overlay it on the map. We've built in some classes that will pull data from NOAA. That's the government agency in the United States that provides weather data. So for example, here we can get the latest radar for the entire United States, and you can see there's storms over this part of the country. We also have support for weather stations, etc. So that's kind of a neat thing to really add into your mapping application if you want to pull in weather data or other data from web services. Other data sources can easily be added as well. Of course, we also got support for WMS, Web Mapping Server. That's a standard that's been around for a long time, and there's a lot of existing WMS servers, so we make it real easy for you to pull that data in as well. Finally, we wanted to show you how you can also add your own layers or customize layers. Here we're just pulling from an XML file and showing some features, but we wanted to kind of explain how that worked. So if you've got your own proprietary data format or data that's not, in one of these formats, you can easily build your own layer to read and write that data as well. So let's head over and take a look at the code now. So I'm going to pull up Visual Studio here, and all of our Web API learning samples come with both samples and leaflet and open layers. Because the one I was just showing you was using leaflet as the client-side JavaScript mapping library, but you can use open layers or even other ones if you'd like. This sample really doesn't have a lot of JavaScript in it, so I'm not going to focus on much of that because it's just really flipping between the 2 different layers. What I want to show you is a lot of the controller code here, where we have the REST Web API endpoints to load the various formats. So for example, here we built a route to load the shapefile. You can see we're giving the shapefile a path to where the shapefile exists, and then we're loading that into the shapefile feature layer. So pretty much all of our data sources for layers are kind of named at the same standard, kind of the name of the format, and then either feature layer if it's vector or just layer if it's a raster image. Once we load that, we set the zoom levels for how we want to style it, add it to the map, and then return the tiles back to the JavaScript client. So if we look in this list, you can see we've got a routine for all the different formats. I won't go through all of them here, but let's look at like a raster one. Here's where we're loading a Mr. Sid file. It's very similar to this way we do shapefile, just a different class name, give it your path, and then set, when you want it to be displayed, and draw the images out accordingly. Let's look at one of the web service ones too. Let's see, that's going to be NOAA. Let's look at the radar one. Load NOAA radar. Again, we've made a web API REST endpoint here, so leaflet's passing in, the Z, X, and Y coordinates. We load that up. We're loading a NOAA raster layer here to our overlay, and then we're drawing back the tiles. So we do all the heavy lifting of going out there and retrieving all that data. You just got to wire up your REST Web API endpoints for your app, for what data sets you're wanting to do. Finally, let's take a look at the custom layer. So here we've created 2 extra classes where we called the ThinkGeo headquarters feature layer and the ThinkGeo headquarters feature source. So these are inheriting from feature layer, and we've just implemented the real basic get all features core method. So you can override that. And here we're just calling, we got a little helper class where we go out and get the XML and return all those features. So this is just a very real basic example of how you can extend Map Suite to read your own data, and also just gives you some good sample code of how to call the different data sources and load them up into your application. All this code is available through Product Center. If you're not familiar with Product Center, you can just click on the product that you're interested in and go here to Code Samples, and you can download all these, and they'll launch in Visual Studio. So the layers one is right here. You can also view the source code on the wiki. Finally, if you have any questions at all, feel free to post them on our discussion forums on our website. We monitor them regularly and love to hear feedback from the community, and answers people's questions. Thank you, and I hope this video has been helpful. Again, let us know if you have any question. Thanks.